Today we are talking about specifically matching the vibration of $100,000 spiritual business or offer, right? Because it can be a specific offer that you're trying to channel this money into, or it could be your business in general, right? And I have a lot to say about this topic, many things, because I think that often when people talk about the vibration of a particular revenue number, right? I just think they teach it wrong. I think they oversimplify it and they teach it wrong, right? But that's okay. That's okay. We're going to talk about it a little bit differently today, and hopefully it helps you do all of the things that you need to do to get there, right? So this is what we're going to do today. I am going to give you, I think, 6 key things, like steps, that you need to take if this is what you're trying to do in 2026. And I'm going to talk about these things from a few different perspectives, right? So I'm going to give you the spiritual and energetics. I'm going to give you the strategy, and I'm also going to give you some tactics, right? Because one of the things I find very frustrating sometimes when people come at this from kind of a spiritual perspective is they never give you the tactics, like what are you actually doing? So I'll give you some today, right? And in the Destiny program, there's going to be plenty of tactics and strategies, right, for you guys to play with and try on and see if they fit you, okay? But I will definitely give you some today. So even if you do nothing else and you just listen to this class, and you try and implement what I'm going to teach you in this class, I think this is really going to help you, right? Because the details are all in the execution of everything, right? But for those who I don't know as well and who might be watching on the replay, right, who am I? Lola Seshat. I am a spiritual teacher, first and foremost, and a psychic business strategist, and a former management consultant, right? I've been a management consultant for 17 years and an accountant, a chartered accountant actually in the UK, which I guess is like a CPA in the US. And I did that for 17 years, guys, like really consulting some of all the names that you will know. I worked with Disney, I worked with GlaxoSmithKline, like many really huge businesses, helping them grow in various different forms of strategy, okay? And if you cut me open, you're going to find 2 things running through my veins. One is spirituality. I've been on the spiritual path for 30 years, which is a long time, and business, right? So these are things that I know more than anything else in the world, right? And my last role in consulting, so I consulted for a really long time, and then I moved inside the organization to help that organization grow. And so my last role was managing a sales organization that was doing £1 billion, yeah, not dollars, £1 billion in sales every year, okay? So I'm extremely proud of that. So this is not my first online business, actually my second one. My first business was a leadership consulting business. So I actually focused on helping people develop their leadership skills and land their first 6-figure roles and big corporate promotions, right? I did that for a really long time, offline, and then I moved it online. And in the process of moving that business online and really trying to focus on growing it, that's when I got meningitis. And I'd had this spiritual business on the side for a while, and I thought I didn't have the confidence really to grow it. And then I got meningitis, and I had been consulting with a few coaches and psychics who let me understand that one of the reasons why this happened is because I'd really been running away from my destiny, and that really crystallized for me that I needed to go all in, focusing on helping people align to their destinies, right, particularly spiritual practitioners, which is why I do this work, the work that I really love and I'm passionate about, okay? So that's how I've ended up here, and that's probably all you need to know, right, by way of introduction. So I want to give you the confidence that, you know, I know there are a lot of people out there who are talking about this sort of thing, and it's difficult to know who to trust, but you know, I'm giving you some of that information to help you, right? So I started this tiny little business doing destiny readings in 2022, and now we've grown it brick by brick to this point. So this is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you the 6 steps, right, on getting to your next or your first 100K, right? And I'm going to start with this, number 1. We're going to get straight into it, which is We need to all understand, what does 100K, $100,000 represent energetically, yeah? Because it's sort of a magic number, like the 6 figures, I think it's the number everyone keeps talking about. And in one sense, right, and particularly if you listen to the class I did before this, it sort of means nothing, right? This number sort of means nothing, right? It's just numbers, money. But in another sense, we have infused it with a lot of meaning as people. Particularly now when I think a lot of people are struggling, it means stability, it means predictability, okay? It means kind of stepping out of survival mode, right? And particularly when it comes to in business, right, in a business context, the predictability element of it is quite important, okay? So I'm going to go into a bit more detail of, like, you know, how does this feel for us energetically? Because this is going to be our starting point, and then we're going to get into some more strategic pieces as well. But it does have a meaning, right? And we need to understand that. So it means consistency, it means completion, it means wholeness, right? And so the thing that I want you to take away most about what this number means is it means professionalism. It means professionalism. And this is pretty much across the board. It doesn't matter which career we're talking about, which business we're talking about. Once you hit that 100K mark, okay, we're no longer a hobbyist. And this is not a comment about whether or not someone's full-time or not full-time. Okay, this is the energy behind it. The energy behind it is professionalism. So going pro, yeah, this is the identity that you really want to be embracing if you're going to be stepping into this number, right? And this is the energetic positioning that we want to have. So the thing that I want you to know is that you already have everything you need to get here, right? You don't need anything extra. You have all of the abundance. The one thing I talk about a lot when it comes to money is that money is just a reflection of abundance that you already have. We're just talking about transforming the energy. So if you're talking about calling 100K in, it's not something external to you. It's something internal to you that you're transforming into a different form of energy, right? So this is important to understand. The other bit about the energy of 100K in particular that I want to leave with you about this professionalism is that it's also really about concentrating the energy, yeah? And this will make more sense as I start to go into some of the strategic pieces of it, right? But before 100K in your business, you are probably operating in a way that is leaking energy in multiple places. This looks like you are doing a lot of marketing activity and you're not really sure which ones of those things are actually bringing clients into your business. It might look like you've got various different offers and you're not really sure about, you haven't committed to one or a couple, you're just doing various different things, okay? Your energy is all over the place. And 100K, like stepping into that, is focused, concentrated energy that is no longer scattered and leaking, right? And this is part of the going pro piece, okay? So what we're going to be doing, right, in moving towards this number is we're going to concentrate the energy. Yeah, it's very much like doing magic. It's like drawing a circle or having an altar. I often talk about a niche being an altar, and I know spiritual practitioners, especially neurodiverse ones, we don't like to niche, okay? But niching, concentrating the energy, all of this is all doing the same thing, which is it's focusing our energy and plugging up the leaks. Why? So it can become more potent, so more people can feel it, so it can be felt more deeply, yeah? So this is the energy of it, right? Now, let me give you a very, very brief recap on what we talked about in the previous class about being a vibrational match to something, right? Because in this class today, we're talking about being a vibrational match to $100,000 inside of a year, right? And so a vibrational match, right, occurs when a couple of things happen. One is you need to desire the thing, right? without being attached to it. And I explained in the last class what that means, and I went into quite a lot of detail, okay? The other piece of it, which is almost the most important, is you need to meet the vibration of something, which means that that thing is neither above you nor below you, okay? So in this particular context, we need this magical number that we've given so much meaning to not be above us or below us. So let me give you an example of what I mean. So if you consider this number to be really bigger than you, right, you are probably going to feel not quite worthy of it. Yeah, so you might feel like, I don't deserve it. You might feel like that number comes with too much responsibility and therefore you do not have the capacity to meet that number, okay? And then you might feel like you deeply desire it, but it comes with all of this attachment. And as I explained in the last class, attachment is just really a form of fear. It's another form of fear. And so when we're mixing those vibrations together, we're not in congruence, and that makes it very difficult for us to match the vibration, yeah? Okay, now that's when we feel like this is above us. That's not the only problem that spiritual practitioners have. Sometimes we don't meet the vibration because we've actually placed what we want beneath us, okay? And so in this context, this might look like, which a lot of us often do feel like we've transcended money. We're too high vibe for money. We look down on it. And we can look down on it in condescension, right? And sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing it, but it comes out often in the words that we use and how we talk about other people. And so if we're looking down on money, we are not a vibrational match to it, right? So thinking like only bad people make money, etc. These are all ways in which we place it beneath us. And again, I'm going to refer to the previous class as I talk about energetic ways to fix that, right? So I'm not going to go into that today, but I do think it's an important starting point to think about it, or just take a few seconds to think about it now. When you think about that number of $100,000 and you place it on your map, so this is my very dirty whiteboard, but so say where I've put this house, right, this is $100,000, okay, and you're here, what's the difference? Have you placed money here or have you placed it below you, right? So I want you to reflect on that as a starting point. In the energetic space, is $100,000 above you or is it below you? And you need to understand the answer to that so you can know how you need to manipulate the energy, right? Okay, so that was point number one. Number two, you need to decide on the vibrational architecture of your business. Now, this is a lot of words to say this, which is, how do you want that $100,000 to come through? Now, this doesn't mean that we can plan it exactly, right? And this doesn't mean we want to become attached to the how, but setting up the architecture of your business structurally, but also from a vibrational point of view is very, very important. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So 100K, or whatever number we're talking about, because you can use this process I'm talking about today for any number, right? But we're talking about 100K. So it's not just one number. It's not just one energetic thing, right? So the vibration of someone giving you $100,000 today, like just dropping it in your bank account, has a very different vibration than someone giving you $1 a year for 100 years. Okay, those two things are actually not the same thing, right? So, and this is where I think most people don't really give you the next level of teaching, which is you need to then you need to disaggregate it. So let me give you a few examples. I'm going to give you 10 ways, which are really kind of 4 ways, but 10 ways that you could make $100,000. And I want you to listen as I'm going through each of them and think about, how does that feel and where in energetic space is that relative to you? So like I was saying earlier, are these things above you? Are these ways above you or below you? Because each of them are going to sort of create a different feeling within you, okay? So let me share my screen because there are going to be lots of numbers and I don't want you guys to get lost. So the first way that I'm going to give you, well, the first 5 ways I'm going to give you, okay, is if you've essentially got one signature offer, yeah? So you could have one offer, and that could be a course, it could be a VIP day, program, whatever, right? And you could have 200 clients paying you $500 to be in that program, yeah? 100 clients at $1,000. 50 clients paying you $2,000. 20 clients paying you $5,000. Or 10 clients paying you $10,000, right? Each of those has a very different vibration, yeah? Okay, so that's category number 1. The next one is you could have some kind of model where you are making recurring revenue. So that could be that could be coaching, that could be therapy, and I've got a lot of therapists. It could be some kind of retainer, okay? So here are a couple more examples. So you could be charging $2,000 a month for 5 clients over 10 months, right, to get to a round number, or $1,000 a month for 10 clients for 10 months, or $500 a month for 20 clients for 10 months. Yeah. Again, each of these has a very different vibration, and as you can tell, I could have cut this number in multiple different ways. These are just some examples, right? Now, the next one is an hourly model, and I know a lot of us have got an hourly rate model. So what I would say about this, and I've posted about this on threads before, which is what I have seen in my experience is I don't think spiritual practitioners can really work with clients directly more than 15 or 20 hours a week. I think that our energetic capacity doesn't necessarily allow for that. Okay, so I've just used 20 hours a week as sort of a baseline, right? If you work 20 hours a week and you take 4 weeks off a year, that gives you 960 hours to work with, right? And so if you've got 960 hours, you need to be charging $104 an hour to get to 100K, okay? And that might be, you might be doing readings, that could be, you could be doing hours in various different ways. You could be packaging up hours. There are various different ways to do it, okay? So that's another way, right? An hourly rate model, this is what you would need to do. And obviously that 960 hours for you in this context would be fully booked, right? This is what it would look like to be fully booked from an energetic perspective, right? And so the last model then I will give you is the ascension model. So let's say you've got 100 people buying $100 product, right? And then 50 of them ascend into a more expensive product, $500, and then 10 of them do more expensive product, $5,000, and then 5 of those do like a smaller upsell, right? That would get you to 100,000. And so this is what's more typically referred to as an offer suite, okay? And by the way, it's not the place that I would recommend that you start when you're focusing on if you're focusing on hitting 100K in total for the first time in your business, I wouldn't do an ascension model. I would wait until you have done 100K. But if you're in a place where you're looking for your next 100K, this might be something that you might want to consider, right, depending on where you are. Okay, so hopefully that was all straightforward. I will share this afterwards as well. So if you are taking notes, I'll post it in the group, that particular sheet too. So as you can see, right, and feel hopefully as we've been going through each of these, they all have a very different vibration, okay? So let's see. The thing that is really determining the vibration of each of these things primarily is a couple of things. One is price. How do you feel about the price, the energetics of the pricing? And in my course, my program, Gods of Money, which we're nearly wrapping up, those guys know we've talked quite a little bit about the energetics of pricing, right, and the capacity and everything that sits behind that. But just to give a brief summary here, okay, premium pricing in particular, so high ticket, comes with a lot of things, okay, and not everybody feels like they have the energy to hold that. So it comes with a level of responsibility. It comes with potentially an element of luxury positioning, right? So there's all sorts of things that go with like at one end of pricing, okay? So that's one thing that impacts the vibration. Where are you on that sort of the price spectrum? The other piece of it is how do you feel about the number of clients that you need to hold? And this is why it's so important to disaggregate the vibration, okay? So your spiritual business, you need to decide whether it's a business that holds 10 clients a month or 10 clients a year, or it's a business that holds 1,000 clients or 100 clients or 500 clients and what you feel comfortable with, okay? So I'm going to give you some homework right now anyway. I want you to go through each of those. I want you to place it on a map, right? So draw yourself a little on a sheet and draw a line and basically just put yourself in the middle and then where these types of offers sit relative to you. So premium offer of $10,000 for, X number of clients, right? Does that feel like it's above you or below you? So just do it for each of them and you'll see where you are currently resonating in terms of the vibrational architecture of your business. Yeah. And this is an important place to start because a lot of people end up with offers that they don't feel aligned to because the business model isn't right, or prices they don't feel aligned to, or they end up getting coaching that tells them that everything they need to do needs to be high ticket, and then they do all this subconscious reprogramming, which is actually just gaslighting themselves out of their destiny, which is essentially what they want to be doing, right? And I think I said in one of these emails, the price does not have any bearing on how much money you make at all. It's just a choice. It's literally just a business model choice, right? So I want you to also notice what comes up for you if you feel like it's going to be easier to make money in this particular way versus this particular way. For some people, they're going to feel like it's easier to make money having a lower ticket thing with more clients. And some people would feel like it's easier to make money doing a higher ticket thing with fewer clients, okay? There is no easier, there is only alignment. There is only alignment. What resonates with your frequency, what resonates with your destiny, okay? Right, so this is point number 2, right? Deciding on the vibrational architecture of your business, which is essentially how you want the 100K to come through and what resonates with you, right? Okay, so number 3, which we've sort of already talked about, is how you then choose a strategy, right? So everything that we're talking about today is what I call frequency first business, okay? Which is if you're going to have a destiny aligned offer or business, which is everything that I talk about here, you need to have the energetics, the manifestation principles, and the strategy that all resonate from a frequency point of view, okay? So how you choose your strategy is all about what aligns with you. So I've talked about some of these things. These are 3 key things you need to think about in terms of how you choose that strategy. 1, the pricing. Where does premium pricing or any type of pricing sit in your energetic space? And in particular, what does that mean in terms of your lifestyle? So let me give you an example. This is quite tactical. Generally speaking, for premium pricing, which is what people would probably consider to be like 2K and up, 2 to 3K and up, right? You generally can't sell that without sales calls, okay? So do you want to do sales calls? How do you feel about sales calls? Do they fit with your lifestyle? Yeah, that is a vibrational point, a strategic point, a resonance point. Okay, number of clients. Do you have capacity for more one-to-one clients if that's what you need, right? And that's not just physical capacity in terms of hours, but energetic capacity. Do you want to take on more one-to-one clients? Or do you need to introduce groups or products, right? And then the third piece I would get you to think about here is, how do you feel about having a simplified offer structure? Because for many people who are trying to hit this number, you have got too many offers and you have got too many products, and therefore you are leaking lots and lots of energy. Some of that will be because you feel like if you try and sort of streamline your offer structure, it's limiting your creativity. Okay, there are all sorts of beliefs you might have about it, but I want you to think about having a simplified offer structure. Where does that sit in energetic space? Does that feel above you, below you? Does it feel anathema to you? Okay. So that's all about choosing a strategy vibrationally. So number 4 then is that you want to create or focus on a destiny aligned offer. So a destiny aligned offer, right, hopefully is self-explanatory, but it's a signature offer that aligns to your story, your skills, and your sphere of influence, okay? This is where I have spent most of my time helping people, right, in the VIP days, is about helping them understand what that offer is, how they would launch it, and all of the things, okay? So you can't do any of this with an offer that you hate, that you have outgrown, that you do not love, okay, and doesn't feel potent, right? Because people can feel the energy of you being in your destiny. There's just such a big difference between just doing something because you feel like you need to and being completely just swimming in the ocean of destiny, okay? It just makes a really big difference. So you want to create an offer that ticks the boxes here, right? Now, let me just give you a little clue into what might happen when you do choose an offer like this. Okay, and in the Destiny program, a lot of the work we'll be doing is making sure that you do have a Destiny aligned offer right to begin with. But what often happens is you will land on that offer, right? You'll get that initial spark of excitement, and then you will go away and start launching it and doing all the things and talking about it, okay? And then you will have the illusion of instant alignment, because you're like, I found it. It's so amazing. Like I've discovered my destiny. I've literally been waiting. Okay. Some of my clients who've worked with me that on the call, they can probably attest to this. Okay. So you have that. And then you have the disappointment of it's not working as I thought it would work when I had that initial feeling of alignment. Okay. This is what I call the initiation, like the true initiation. Because what happens here is that most people give up. They're like, okay, I need to start again and find another offer. Okay. When that's not actually the case, a lot of things are happening energetically in terms of why this happens, but this pattern is pretty much repeated constantly, right? Instead of going back to the beginning and looking for that spark of excitement again, you need to push through to commitment. And this is why I call this the initiation. If you can get past this, okay, you now start to go into the refinement period, right? And it's all starting to work again. And then you get into embodiment and into mastery. But a lot of people get stuck on that first disappointment or first few disappointments, and then they can't push through it, okay? So I just wanted to put this here because finding your destiny offer is not like a silver bullet. None of this is a silver bullet. It's really important, but you also need to show up for it with the energy of commitment, and you need to decide, right? So this is number 4, which is you need to create a destiny aligned offer. Number 5 is you need to carry that energy of commitment that you've experienced now through that initiation into a professionalized $100,000 marketing approach. This means we do not throw spaghetti at the wall any longer, okay? And I'm going to give you some strategies and tactics specifically around this. But let me first tell you what shiny object syndrome does to your vibration, okay? It completely tanks it, completely tanks it. So just like I was talking about the offer, where we have that illusion of instant alignment, and then we feel the disappointment, okay? And then what happens is we go back to the beginning. We do that often with our marketing because we think that the marketing, a particular strategy is going to be the silver bullet or the answer. And there is no strategy that is the answer. There is only alignment, right? So a strategy is just a container for your energy. That is all a strategy is. A strategy is just a container for your energy, which we've just established needs to be concentrated and focused. That's the big difference with $100,000, right? Is now that the energy is being concentrated and focused. So all you are using your marketing for is to transmute the energy of your intention and your offer. Yeah, it's basically alchemy. So you're taking your intention around your offer, how you want to help people and the money that you want to make, and you're transmuting it into a set of daily activities, just like you do with a ritual or a spell. That is exactly what you are doing, okay? So once we get past the idea that the strategy is the answer or the salvation, you can then start to operate with the energy of commitment. So let me give you some very practical things that your marketing strategy needs to contain, right? You need to have what I call the 3 T's. You need to have a method for getting traffic, attention. You need to have a mechanism for building trust with people so they can get to trust you. And then you need a mechanism that is a trigger for conversions or sales, right? And each element needs to be vibrationally aligned, which is just another way of saying you need to actually like it and enjoy it, okay? And it needs to work within your lifestyle limitations because we can't all do everything. We all have our unique limitations, which is totally fine. If you only have one thing that you can do to hit these 3 things, just do that and do it really well, okay? 80% of your results are going to come from one main strategy. So just focus on that. At this level of revenue, you do not need to be in all of the places doing all of the things. When we're talking about multiple millions of revenue now, or even getting towards 7 figures, then we can start thinking about, have I tapped out different parts of the market, okay? At this level, you just need one thing done excellently, right? So my other little tip here with marketing is that you should treat marketing like its own offer. So one of the mistakes I think people make, particularly with content, right? It's like sales content. Some of the content we need to do needs to be direct, like tell people to come to your thing and buy your thing and all of that, okay, which is great. But it also just continue giving value like you normally do, okay? It's its own offer. Just people aren't paying for it directly, okay? So let me give you some more tactics in terms of what I think is really working now and what I'm seeing is going to be working into 2026 specifically, right? Because people keep talking about this trust recession, and I don't like to lean into these ideas, okay? But I do think that the industry has changed. People are cautious in terms of how they're spending their money. And to be honest, I think that's a really good thing. Let's weed out all of the suckers, right? And allow the space to be dominated by people who actually care and who want to help people, right? So things that I think are working well are ways that people can interact with you and build trust with you quickly. One example, live streaming. Okay, anything that is to do with video or where people can meet you like this, okay, is working really well. Live events. So events, I think, are an excellent way of acting as that trigger, that third bit. So how can you create conversions? Let me give you an example. So even when I only did one-to-one, I was only doing one-to-one VIP days, etc., I would always fill my slots with an event. I did do sales calls sometimes as well, but or discovery calls. But I've just found an event really like fantastic, particularly if you like to use social media. Going to an event is really good. It's what we're doing now, right? So I think that works really well. In terms of platforms that I think are really, really good for traffic, I would say Threads and TikTok. Why those 2? Because the algorithms are very, very sensitive. So if you are very consistent with what you are posting about and sharing, you will find your people very, very quickly on those platforms, okay? I'm not super big on Instagram. personally, or I'm seeing a lot of people complain about Instagram and it not really working as well for them. So that's probably not where I would focus. I think YouTube is great. It's a really great long-term strategy, but it can be a little bit of a slower burn. So just in terms of some practical things. Right, so things to think about, right, in terms of vibrational alignment here with your marketing is, do I like to be on social all day, right? Do I have the energy to be selling every single day, right? If you've got an offer where people can buy anytime and they're drip feeding into your offer all the time, well, that often means you need to be on social all the time if that's how you're selling it. Do you like that? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, right? Do you like doing collaborations? Do you like working with other people? If you could choose any marketing approach in the world, what would it be that you would enjoy to do? That's what you need to think about, okay? So that's marketing, right? That's number 5. So then 6, the last thing, my last thing, right? You need to test and learn, but you need to have patience. So this is what's going to happen. You are going to align your business vibrationally, right, through all of the steps that I've talked you through, and then you're going to execute on the strategies that you have decided are resonant for you. And then it's going to take a little bit of time for it to work, because that's just the nature of things, right? And also with any form of manifestation, let alone strategy, business strategy, there's always a bit of a period of delay because of the denseness of the earth, right? Of the energy here. So it just takes time for things to manifest. So in that period of time, you just need to be patient, because your business today reflects the actions that you did yesterday. Okay. So the actions that you do now, you're going to be reflected in your business tomorrow. Okay. Right. Maybe not the next day, but it's going to take some time. And so patience here is really about holding the frequency, right? And the thing that you need to understand at this point is that when you have made all of these decisions and you feel like you are a match, you are going to know that you are a match, right? When I started posting on Threads, after I had this whole meningitis experience, and I was like, I'm going to start posting on Threads, right? I literally had no followers because I never used Instagram really. I think I had maybe like 20 followers or something like that. So I wasn't one of those people that brought thousands of followers over from Instagram. I pretty much did start from scratch, 0. And I would just post my little heart's content, right? Post away. And I knew I would get traction. Why? Because I could feel the vibration of it. Like I would literally go back to my own content and I'd be like, so good, I'm going to read it again. Like I could feel it, you know? And so this is what it feels like to be a vibrational match for something. Even though the results haven't shown up yet, they will show up. You are the evidence. Your feelings are the evidence of it, okay? So that's where you want to get to. You just need to hold the frequency until it shows up, right? So those are all of the things I think that I wanted to go through. I will do some questions. I just want to remind you that the Destiny program is 12 months long. It is a ridiculous offer. And we are going to be looking at business strategy. We're going to be looking at destiny alignment in terms of your offers, and advanced manifestation principles so that we are building a frequency first business, okay? It's all of the things. It's literally all of the things. It's the offer that I wish that I had. And because I know that it takes a lot of time, so I literally started doing VIP days because I'm an impatient person. And I'm like, I just want to get people results quickly. And people do get results really fast in my VIP days. However, the thing is, it takes time to integrate what you are learning, to practice it, and all of the things. And having long-term support where you can ask questions, where you always have got access to someone who you can ask and test things with, and someone can mirror your frequency back to you and hold your vision with you, it's just, I can't, it's like, the value of it is just immeasurable, okay? And I wish I had that. So you should jump in, basically, right? So it's all brand new curriculum based on what's working now, not based on people who blew up their businesses in 2020 and literally don't know what they're talking about, okay? It's all like what is working now. You're getting personalized support on every call. There are no co-coaches, it's just me, right? And we're going to get to know each other very well. And I'm going to get to know your businesses extremely well. And it is the price that it is because I think that we need more prices like this in this industry, and because I want you to get a return on investment really, really quickly. One of the, I'm going to share with you a little story about what broke my limiting belief around lower ticket stuff. Okay, I was in a membership that was, I think, $9 a month, where it was like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of value. Okay, and the coach who runs that, it's around ads and stuff like that, memberships. She makes millions of pounds a year with like a low ticket offer that gives insane amount of value. And this is the other thing I want to tell you about vibrationally creating your own pricing strategy. Some people really just enjoy buying high ticket stuff. They just enjoy it. Okay, this is where they like to do their luxury spending. I personally don't really enjoy that. Okay, I enjoy getting a bargain. That might be the British person in me. I like a bargain. Okay, so this is what I want to be able to offer you. Okay, and then the last thing I will say about the program is that we are going to be focusing very heavily on implementation. Okay, in January we're going to start with a 4-day implementation intensive. You're going to get lots of content, but you're going to get lots of stuff done because it's going to create so much momentum for the rest of the year, and we're going to do them a few times, right? So we're going to be creating content, launch strategies, all of the things, and you're going to be doing it in that 4 days, right? So this isn't just about, this is not another course you can just consume. Okay, we want to be doing the things, and I really want you to get to this number. All right, so that's all I've got to say about that. Right, should we do some questions? Let's do questions.